Well, folks, we missed it. I set it up just to pop in here for 1 minute, just to pop in here for 1 minute while we might have observed it hit the all-time high. And I left this open. I went to do one other thing for a second, and then before I hit go live, kaboom! All-time high. So we're at the Bitcoin all, folks. You can see right here when this 5-minute candle was forming, and you see people like being at the all-time high. People like being at the all-time high. So this is the 5-minute chart, and this green line is the all-time high. And right when this candle was forming, I was like, you know what? It could pop any minute. So I'm just gonna get it ready, and I'm gonna put it right here. And then if it looks like it might go up, I'll hit the go live. And then I went into one other tab for a second, and it explodes. So now I know some different exchanges might register the exact all-time high differently. And this was all-time here. This was from, and now we've crossed it. So that's it. I guess I'm only going to stay here for a minute, because if this happens, let other people know that we're here. If any, pop in for a minute. Instagram, I'm over on YouTube and Facebook. I was ready to do Bitcoin all-time high party 3rd time's a charm, and I had go live button right there, and I went into another tab, and in 1 second it exploded. So I'm on there. I'm going to get off in a second, but just to celebrate. So we're currently maintaining the all-time high. I mean, we could flip around at any second. Word up and say we crossed the milestone. We crossed the milestone. A lot of more cautious people close at 8 p.m. and say, yeah, we know it's really gunning for the all-time high. So if you're using Tone's MRI indicator, and I don't know what Tone has to say, I didn't see if he had a YouTube channel out. I don't know that he would say this in this context, because I know bullish when breaking an all-time high of anything. But ordinarily, if it wasn't an all-time high break, at least he would be saying, he hit a sell signal here, so you don't want to trade. You don't want to trade anything on the day after. You want to wait till you confirm that you're still in a new, fresh uptrend, and so that would be after 8 p.m. tonight. So some people might look at it that way. And And probably right now, a lot of people are staring at this thing, deciding whether to put more money in or not. I'm not doing anything, and this is not financial advice. I'm just here to celebrate Bitcoin broke the all-time high. That's all. So Judy Pinkerton Balzer says, yes. Can't wait to see what happens this quarter. It should be exciting. Kelly DeRosa, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kelly. Christy, I know. I mean, I think that, so first of all, this is not financial advice, but that's what I said when I bought my first installment at 3,000, and then it went to 5,000. I said, 5,000, this is too high. I can't put the next installment in. I wanted to put it in now, but I wanted to put it in at like 3,500 or 4,000. I got to wait for it to come down. And it never came down except very briefly a couple of years later. It came down for a couple months below that. It took years, and then it took off. I mean, I wasn't even paying attention to it anymore when it came down that far. So it's too high. It's too late to get in. Is a pretty. It just. That's a way. I mean, what are you going to say when you say it's too high? Remember when it crashed? Just recently, it crashed to what did it crash to? Let's go on the monthly chart. Just recently, it crashed to, the low was 28,600. And people were still saying, I got to wait for it to go down to 20. I got to wait for it to go down to 10. And look at where they are now. By contrast, what would have happened if you bought it at the peak of the 2017 bull market? What would have happened? Let's go to the 12-month chart here. So the peak of this, the high was 1966 in 2017, and the high, I guess on this index, the high was 1966. I know on some exchanges it crossed 20. Let's just round it to 20. So if you bought, well, actually, let's go to I think it's easier to see how long it would have taken you to recover if we go to the monthly chart. So this is, man, it's crazy how you have to zoom in so much. Remember in 2017 how that looked like this insane bubble, but now you have to like zoom in like crazy to even see it. So the top of this bubble, let's say you bought right here. You would be screwed if you bought in December 2017 and you needed to sell it by January 2019. But you would have had to wait until November 2020 to be made whole if you bought at the exact top of the 2017 bubble or bull market, or however you want to phrase it. So December 2017 to November 2020, I guess that's almost 3 years, right? 2017 to 2020 is 3 years, and it's a little over 3 years. So it's November to December. Is that right? No, it's December to November. So it's a little under 3 years. So if you bought at the exact top, it would have taken you 3 years to be. If you bought it, what would have happened? You'd be up 3x right now. But why would you put everything in at the exact top? What if you started dollar cost averaging in this month? Let's say you decide to put $100 in per month, and you started at December 17. Well, you would have bought it cheaper the next month. You would have bought it cheaper the next month, cheaper the next month, cheaper the next month, cheaper the next month, or yeah, cheaper the next month, cheaper, 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 down to 4,000. And by this point, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, $1,600 in there. And you would have averaged that across 3,000 and 20,000 and everything in between. So you'd be bought in around the middle at 7,000 on average. Why would you take a huge chunk of money, know nothing about the timing, be so ignorant of the market timing such that you bought everything at the exact top of the bull market, and then just cried for 3 years and then tripled your money after that? You wouldn't do that if you don't know anything about timing. You just dollar cost average. If you're a trader, you try to trade the highs and the lows, but if you're not a trader, you don't ever do that. You dollar cost average regardless of the price always. You just you ignore the price and you just put the money in slowly and steadily. Christy says not enough margin. Are you talking about the leverage in your account? Are you trading with margin? Is that what you mean? Christy says they're driving it up. If you want to know who's driving what up, follow Willie Woo's newsletter. It's extremely transparent who's buying what in terms of long-term holders versus short-term holders, and in terms of whales versus dolphins versus shrimp. The big players versus the little. There's no need for conspiracy theory. And besides that, they manipulate the price of everything else. JP Morgan had numerous people who were convicted of manipulating the gold and silver market recently. People, I forgot who it is, but someone who's on Tone's show, he specializes in analyzing order spoofing. That's what the JP Morgan people were convicted of. But because crypto is not really regulated, they don't convict spoofers here. But the spoofers, they place fake orders and then they pull them before they get filled. And so they convince the bots that are trading and the people that are trying to analyze the market, they make it look like the price is going to go in a certain direction because of the orders are there, and then they pull the orders before they get filled. People are doing that to Bitcoin price all day long, and they're doing it when it's going up and they're doing it when it's going down. And that's the explanation of people who get washed out within a day and get wrecked because they're trying out in the market, and it's minute-to-minute fluctuations is being manipulated. But that's not an explanation of the macro trend. That's ridiculous. Christy says, "Oh heck no, 50." Yeah, I'd love to get in. I'd love a time machine, but I don't have one. So why would you base your trades on a time machine? My people are saying XRP. Isn't XRP still in a battle with the SEC? So December 2020, SEC charges Ripple and 2 executives. What's the current news on this? So the last 21 hours ago, the lawsuit filed by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission against blockchain company Ripple Labs for selling unregistered securities is inching closer to being a year old, while showing no signs of settling soon. All right, so they're so Ripple is in this extended battle with the SEC that they're not going to lose. I don't understand how. I mean, that they're not going to win. I don't understand how. I don't know how anyone can think that ICOing a coin like they IPO a stock is not selling, which is the means of funding your company. I don't understand how anyone can claim that that's not selling an unlicensed security. I don't know. I don't understand. I just don't understand how. I just don't understand how if the SEC comes after them, the SEC is not going to win that over time. They might drag it on for years, but so XRP looks like it was doing great into April, and now it's kind of doing nothing. But I guess since you brought it up while we were talking about Bitcoin, the correct chart is the XRP relative to Bitcoin chart. And this is the monthly XRP to Bitcoin chart. So it's been doing nothing but go down. Doing nothing. Where was the top of this? So the top of the XRP Bitcoin chart was in May of 2017. So Ripple was a major beneficiary of the Bitcoin bull market in 2017 and the altcoin frenzy that took place there. And since then, it tried to go back up there in January 18. And then ever since January 18, it's done nothing but fall relative to Bitcoin for 3.5 years. And it tried to cross this 20-month moving average and couldn't. It's now falling from it in a confirmed monthly downtrend. All the while being same, and it's, in the mid-weekly downtrend. And it just completed a downtrend on the daily chart and looks like, it might be going down. The while they're in a protracted go nowhere battle over whether their coin itself is an unlicensed security. I don't understand how anyone can say stay away from Bitcoin by Ripple. I don't get it. Birdie says, when did you get into Bitcoin? First got into Bitcoin early 2017 at 3,000. Made the idiot move of saying, "Oh, 5,000, it's too high. I can't put my next installment in now." Got the rest in between 5 and 10K. That was my first time I went into Bitcoin. And then 3/4 of my Bitcoin that's in now, half of that was a quarter. The other 3/4, half of it went in at the break of 10K and half at the break of 20K. Geek Addict says we did it. Dennis Cook says 10-year hodl or bust. Well, that'll be good for your taxes. I mean, so Raoul Paul made a good point, which is the longer your time horizon, the more likely you are to be right. Because if you have a month to be right or wrong, then it's very easy to only be able to be wrong in the next month. But if you have a 10-year time horizon, then you're probably going to, like they say, being right, broken clock is right twice a day. Well, over a 10-year time horizon, you're probably going to be right numerous times. And so as long as you have the patience and you don't panic, over a 10-year time horizon, you can exit the trade when you're right. Although a lot of people in Bitcoin, including me, I have some portion that is not even on a yearly scale of trade. I'll just probably keep it forever, just on the basis of philosophically supporting Bitcoin and the separation of state and money. Mike Miller says BTC allows you to opt out of the government fiat system. See Raoul Paul's video, The Bitcoin Life Raft, on Bitcoin being the life raft of freedom inside becoming behavioral economics dystopia of central bank digital currencies. Christy Etheridge said, what are these other places you said? Tonevays, tonevays.com, tonevays.com, and his YouTube channel. Just search his name on YouTube. Dennis Cook says the Rogue Fitness Invitational is holding their prize purse in BTC. The boost in price just elevated the purse to over $1 million in BTC. That's great. Christy Etheridge says he seems to think it will be the form of currency. I'm just learning about all of this. I'm a server, LOL. I like cash. I used to be a server. I was trained to, but people didn't pay in credit cards back. But while we're at 66, people didn't pay in credit cards back then. Everyone paid cash, and I was trained at Friendly's. I was trained just to report the amount of tips that would give me minimum wage. So I was trained how to do the calculation because they paid a half minimum wage base pay, and then evade taxes with the rest. Christy said, so would it matter if you were just investing $300 to $400? I mean, it matters a lot if $300 to $400 is meaningful to you. I mean, $300 to $400 doesn't help me very much because my business expenses are so high. I have, I pay people. I pay other people, not just myself. But for some people, $300 or $400 is what they have to spend on gas to get to work, and they don't have a month, and they don't have any, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. So if you could expand your $300 or $400 3x, that might be your only means of saving more than you need per month for gas money or something like that. Oh, I don't have an opinion on ADA, but I know that most people that I respect who are not Bitcoin maxis are. Is this it? Is this the right one? Most people that I respect who are not Bitcoin maxis is among the top value. I would defer to Benjamin Cowan on what's going to go on with ADA. It looks like it hit a monthly top, and then so on this is Tone's MRI indicator. So on Tone's indicator, it hit a monthly top, and you would expect a 1 to 4 month pullback and go higher. But I don't remember what the rule is. I think Benjamin would say when Bitcoin is going crazy in an all-time high is when the alts would go up. Is that right? Is that when the alts would outperform BTC? Is that right? If so, I might take a little tiny. I'm not gonna. I mean, the core of my investment will always be BTC, but I'll allot. Excuse me. I'll allot a little bit to ADA. I don't have any right now. I'm going with Benjamin Cowan, and see what he says about Bitcoin breaking the all-time high for alts and ADA. And I might just put in, I'd buy ADA like I'd buy oil. Like I'm philosophically committed to Bitcoin, but I have some oil because I think that the COVID lockdowns have destroyed the world's energy supply, and now they're layering on top ESG in order to separate out the masses of peasants from the feudal lords who have private jets. And I think that ESG, environmental sustainable growth, although I love being environmentally sustainable in principle, I think the globally coordinated ESG is a pretense to do two things. One is to destroy all cattle farming across the entire world and get everyone onto Beyond Meat style processed food. And then the other is to make it so only a handful of billionaires can travel and everyone else is so poor that they are stuck in their own location, and they're either in a city where they are participating in the system of renting everything from the billionaires with conditional basic income determined by behavioral economics in their central bank digital currency wallet, or they said, screw this, I'd rather be poor in the rural areas, and they're the outcasts. I think that's where this is going. And so in the process, they are trying to totally screw the world's energy supply. And therefore the price of oil is going to go crazy like it's been. And so I buy a little oil. I think that's what's going on. But philosophically, the core of what I believe in is represented by Bitcoin. So 22, Christy Edwards says, what's the program you're on? If you're talking about the what we're looking at, that's TradingView with Tone Bayes in MRI indicator, which is a paid indicator, momentum reversal indicator. It's like a close cousin of Tom DeMark sequential, but it's a little bit different. Among the differences, it integrates with TradingView, and TradingView integrates like in an open source manner scripts that anyone can write and add. And so TD sequential also, I believe you have to purchase symbolic. Before you had to purchase a Bloomberg terminal to use it, but recently you can buy it on symbolic, which is just run by Tom DeMark, and so it's sort of like you're stuck in Tom's ecosystem, and you don't have access to TradingView. Whereas with Tones, Tones isn't the exact same thing. It's like a cousin, right? Like it's descended from a common ancestor. But it integrates with TradingView, and so you can have other scripts from other people based on exponential moving averages or moving averages or Fibonacci or you name it, whatever you want, integrated to put it on the same screen. So 22 Darius 22 says, Ben says when BTC moves, alts sit and watch. So when do alts go crazy? When Bitcoin is in the bull market but chills out? What's the rule? So the alts, when BTC moves, alts sit and watch. But when BTC chills out in a bull market, alts go up. And when BTC is in a bear market, alts go down. Is that the rule? I got to rewatch Ben. I'm sure he's going to comment on this today. Christy says, my son uses SPY, but he trades options. I don't know what that means. SPY is an ETF. He trades options on the SPY ETF. Is that what you mean? So the SPY is an ETF based on the SPX, which is the S&P index. Annex's path to alt season, first BTC, others follow, and BTC already reached its top. All right, so Bitcoin, so Benjamin's thesis is Bitcoin skyrockets after breaking the all-time high, and then it chills out, and when it chills out, the alts go whoosh, and then at some point when Bitcoin enters a bear market, the alts die. I mean, the alts also enter their bear market, right? I am absolutely not the person to ask about all these altcoins. There's no point in it. I have no opinion on any of them. I only know that ADA, I hear Benjamin talking about a lot, and I have other friends who talk about it. And I know, but I don't watch Benjamin's channel religiously. And so, I mean, especially in the Bitcoin bear market, there was no point because I was just hodling through the bear market. So I didn't pay much attention to the price during that. John says, invest only what you are willing to lose. That's great financial advice, but we're not giving any financial advice here. We are just having a little party to celebrate Bitcoin breaking the all-time high. All right, looks like it's holding the all-time high, so that's great. I got to go, guys. This was just to celebrate, but I got a lot of work to do. So take care, everyone. And yeah, stay healthy. Peace.